Before we call for a question to close, we opened with a prayer, and I think it would be fitting if we end with a prayer. And Cousin Richard, you have to forgive me, I don't know your Lummi snap. If you'd be willing, could you close us with a prayer?
Patrick Wilton, my Indian name. JCM. I'd like to thank everyone for showing support for the new ones. The old people would say, we have no room for oh poor me here. We have no room for selfishness, especially in the position you're in. Just a little encouragement to keep on going. Leaving you with that, in anger. Sacred is our way of life to us. Sacred is our family. Most of all, sacred is our Creator. Our Creator. Leaving me that, CM. Haiska CM.
And with that concludes the Chaddock.
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate the new councilman and thank the councilmen that are going out. I've been there, I've done that, so I know what you guys are going through. But I got something to say. I've been here thinking about you guys are talking about our ancestors. This is the land I grew up on. This is my playground out here. I played, I had trails all through this woods here, clear up to the Chief August Martin Road. Chief August Martin is Chaddock, and that's the Indian name that I carry. You have two roads. You got Chief August Martin Road going one way, and you got the Quina Road going the other way. They were both chiefs on this land. And when I would say a prayer at the college, I let them all know that I asked Chaddock and Quina to be there to protect, to make sure we succeed, so there wouldn't be no failure. We're on their land as a group here now. So I think when you say a prayer, you ask them to be with you to help succeed in some of the things that you guys have mentioned. Our ancestors believed in that. They believed in, I'm going to tell you a little story. Chaddock was a blind man. And when I was about 10 or 11 years old, we had a farm down there right where the dormitory for the college is at. And we had a barn there, and we had cattle, we had apple trees, pear trees, cherry trees. We had the whole farm, all kinds of vegetables, and we had cows. we used to bring the cows down to where the old smokehouse is at now, because there used to be a lot of grass, tall grass, and we used to let them feed for about 2 days, and then me and that blind man would go down. I was only about 10 or 11 years old, and we had a collie dog that I used to take down. We used to take down, and he used to round the cows up, and we'd take them cows up to the barn, and some of the people that were staying at our house would milk the cows. My mom would make butter and different things that we needed. But that blind man raised me. And he was the chief. He raised me, and when I was working with the youth here at Lummi, one of my favorite lines was that I used to tell them that I was taught to see by a blind man. Because he used to take me down there to round them cattle up. I had eyes, but he could see better than I could, even though he was blind. And so I start thinking about a lot of the things that I've accomplished here on the reservation. A lot of the things that I've accomplished were steered by that blind man. And so I'm asking you guys to, when you maybe have your opening prayer, make sure you ask that they be here with you in this room. Because this was the chief's land here. And I knew every trail in this woods back here. And I just wanted you guys to be aware and to be thinking about that when you have your meetings here, that you invite them into the room and ask them to guide you. That's how our people did it in the past. They asked our elders that were gone on to lead us. And I heard Daryl saying that again just a little while ago in a more current situation. But them elders done a lot of things. They gave that land where the church is at down here, and they got people together, not on a council, but just together, to move that church from down there where the smokehouse is at, up through the trees, through the swamp. And they used little round trees, and they'd line them up, and then they would use horses and pulleys, and they would pull. They pulled that church all the way from down where the smokehouse is at, clears up to where it's at now, after they gave them that land. They had no money, but they were still able to do things. And that's what Daryl and them were talking about, how strong our elders were. And I know it because they used to have a guy that was cutting wood. He would saw wood with a crosscut saw all day long. And we had wood stacked up back here, way back here in the woods. And we lived way down there by where the college is at, where the college dormitories are at. And when I was about 10 or 11 years old, I used to go up there with a wheelbarrow and load that wheelbarrow up with wood and wheel it down every day. So it was hard work. They believed in hard work. And I couldn't imagine how they got that church up there without the everyday equipment that we have nowadays. we got all kinds of equipment to get it up here now. We would just move it up here. But I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I'm really impressed. I spent 30 years on this tribal council, and I'm really impressed with. I was kind of concerned about the young ones on there, but I'm really impressed with your guys' words and your willingness to learn. Candy, I want to thank Candy. But I'd be sitting down watching a game down there, and then she'd come up and give me a smack on the cheek and leave a whole bunch of lipstick on my cheek almost every game. And I didn't notice that until somebody else was going to come up and give me a kiss. And she says, "You got lipstick on your cheek already." So, but I really want to thank Candy for her words, such beautiful words that she had, and instructions for the council, and not only the council, but herself. She's offering herself to help. And so I just wanted to say these few words that kind of might help with your prayer. When you say prayers, you're on the Quina land here, and Quina was the first chief, and Chaddex was the second chief. And I got a chance to grow up with them, and so I just I say the prayer down at the college on a regular basis in that log building, and I asked them to come into that building and help us make the college a success. And I'd like to ask them to be with this tribal council, and because you're on the homeland here now. This is a good place to be. This is where you guys are in leadership land. So I didn't want to leave without sharing that with you guys, and thanking you guys for giving me the encouragement. I'm really encouraged with all of you. You guys just look at each other. Look, so much strength there. There's so much strength there, and you got so much strength in the community that's willing to step forward and work with you. So thank you for the time. I just wanted to say these few words.
Anybody else?
No, I can't leave here without saying something. Osiam and Astralacha Siam, Kwatilamat, Snap. My dear people, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here this evening. My heart and hands go out to those council members who were voted out. My heart and hands goes out to those who are elected in. My advice to each and every one of you is that it's going to require for you to have tough skin, but a soft heart. Especially when you have to put up with someone like me. Because I will always be there watching. I will always be the one that people come to complain and ask me to be their voice at your meetings. I ask each and every one of you to maintain the integrity that is required of you, to be honest. People come to me with their concerns about your actions and the way you conduct yourselves. To not lie, cheat, or steal from your people. And whatever that means to each and every one of you is up to you. Because there can only be one judge. It is not for me to judge you, but for you to make the right choices in everything that you do. Whether it's to collect a paycheck for work, for hours that you didn't actually put in, for abusing a credit card, for not listening to your people, for not doing for them what they're asking you to do, for not listening, and for not making your right choice because of self-gain. You guys are here to represent over 5,000 people. You're not here to represent yourself. The decisions you make are for everybody that's sitting here and everybody who's at home, who's not here. You're here to represent the General Council. My request to each and every one of you is to listen to the General Council. When people voice their concerns at General Council meetings, it is their hope that when they have enough nerve to get up at those meetings to express to you their concerns, that you listen and acknowledge their concerns by telling them, I will do my best. I do not like it when people are brave enough to get up in front of you and tell you what they feel, and everybody just sits there and stares at them. Acknowledge them. Validate their concerns. That's where your soft heart has to come in. Your tough skin has to come with harsh words that people may say to you because you're not doing your job. You're not helping them. I heard my brother say this the other day at a family gathering, talking to my nephew, Turtle. There's going to be tough choices for you to make. The choice between helping a tribal elder who has a leak in their water pipes or a high-class politician that's knocking on your door asking you for your time. What's more important? That's for you to decide and for the decision that you have to live with. Honesty, integrity are very high on my list as far as how you conduct yourselves when you're doing the business of the Lummi Nation. I expect a lot from you. Your community expects a lot from you. I've said this year after year. People are always watching. People are always saying things. I'm not one to always spread rumors, but people come to me with things, and if they can't prove it, that's why I say there's only one judge. You might think you're getting away with things, but come your judgment day, that's when you'll know whether you did the right thing or not, made the right choices. You're here to serve your people every single day, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year that you're sitting in those seats. And it's a tough job to represent over 5,000 people. Knowing you can't please everybody or do for everybody what they need. But you got to do your best, always, no matter what. So my request to each and every one of you is to always remember where you came from. A lot of people talked about it tonight. Our history. The words that come out of my mouth were taught to me by my Auntie Violet, my Auntie Viola, my Auntie Luella, They were the ones that taught me how to be strong, to be a voice, to not be afraid to speak up. We need to have good lobbyists, like Auntie Violet. She knocked down doors in Washington, D.C. to get what we have today. Willie went to Washington, D.C., knocked down doors. Uncle Sam. Remember those great people, what they stood for, why they did the things they did, because they loved their people so much. They were willing to lay down their lives for what we have today. We've come a long way, that's for sure. For those blessings, we're grateful, but we still have a long road ahead of us to get to be where we need to be. So I encourage each and every one of you to maintain that path, keeping us towards our goals, and never lose sight of who put you there. Because sure as we put you there, we can take you out of there. And that's not a threat. That's just a promise that's been made by everybody who supported you and voted you in there. Now I heard that those primary elections, that there were some ballots that were misplaced. And I truly in my heart, it hurts my heart to hear that those 11 people's vote was misplaced. Those 11 people took the time and effort that it took for them to fill out those ballots. They needed to be counted, whether they were misplaced or not. Because every vote counts. How many times do we hear that? We encourage our people to vote. And when their ballots are misplaced, how do you think that makes those 11 people feel? Why should I vote? All they're going to do is lose my ballot. That's what I mean about integrity, honesty. Show the people that you're valid, that they're valid, that their opinions matter, that their ballots matter. Every single one of them matter. That election should have been done over after that, in my opinion. Because those 11 votes weren't counted.
They were counted.
But that never should have happened.
They were counted.
But I couldn't leave here tonight without encouraging every single one of you to remember that these are the people that put you there. My hands are up to each and every one of you for your commitment and your concern and your belief and your love for your people. So with that, I congratulate our new candidates that were elected. My condolences also, because it's going to be tough. Because your general counsel will be tough on you. It's not going to be a piece of cake by any sense of the word. But good luck to each and every one of you in this year. I look forward to working with each and every one of you, because I will be at as many meetings as I can be at, because that's my job. And I love each and every one of you with all my heart. And I thank you for your service to the people.
Amazing.
So again, Heiska, to everyone that is here tonight, and I've been through a lot of these. I've been through 15 or 16 years of elections. So I apologize, but I'm pretty tired. We put my uncle away yesterday, so I'm pretty tired. So I'm just kind of got to go home and get some rest, and congratulate the new candidate. Again, it's something that we see every year. So you passed the vote now, so it's done. Okay, so don't have to worry about that. That's next year now. Next year, we can do it all over. You know, so I've been through a lot of these, and I really appreciate Willie for being here tonight. I came in back in 1989. I think I came in, I was 29 years old, or 28 years old when I got on. Wasn't very old. And again, is that I still remember those days as Violet and Uncle Sam and all these guys would kind of give me marching instructions. I still remember Mr. Frank, or Shaker Church Minister Jefferson. We were down at the gym, and he said we're dedicated and slaves to the people. That's what he said that night. And we had we used to kind of do it with the elders, what's going on with that. But we kind of got away from that. At times we want to think about gathering up our elders to kind of get our butts chewed once in a while and listen. I've been down the last couple of weeks listening to our elders, and we need to listen more to our elders and what's going on and our board of leaders. So I hope we can do that. Again, I hope the new councilman will support what we're doing. Support what I'm trying to do is bring our kids home. I've been working with the grandparent committee for the last 6-7 months now, trying to get our kids home. Again, I hope we can get support from you on that. But again, I'm pretty tired. I really want to go home and get some sleep. I'm just kind of tired. I'm sorry, but I've been doing this a long time, and I got to get some rest. So, hi, Scott. Thank you.
Motion by Darrell to adjourn. Second by Jay. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. We welcome everyone outside for, we have refreshments, food, and fellowship. Thank you all for coming.